Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to Thursday's Stretching and Mobility class. You won't need any equipment today, so let's get right into it. We're going to start our warm-up. So we're going to start with some leg cradles. So we're just going to lay down on the ground. First thing I'm going to do is grab my knee and my ankle and pull it across my body while trying to keep my hips on the ground and alternate. So we're going to get about 5 each side. Feeling a little extra tight today. Great. Last one on each side. 5 and 5. All right. Next thing we're going to do now is go into our reach, roll, and lift. So what I want to do, kind of a frog pose, so I'm sitting back on my heels. I'm going to move my knees far away from each other. Now, keeping my hips back, I'm just going to bring my chest towards the floor. Hands on the mat. I'm just going to reach out, roll my hands so they're facing the ceiling. I'm going to lift. So the goal here, we've done this one before, we want to try to keep our hand facing the ceiling. So you can only lift a certain amount before you feel that pull. Then you're going to roll your hands back over and you're here. We're going to do that 4 more times. So we're going to reach, roll, and lift. Back down. Oop, missed the sequence there. That's okay. Let's get one more. All right. So we've done our shoulders, feeling good. Next thing we're going to do is get into some glute bridges. So I'm going to do double leg into single leg. So now, when I get set up here, I want my feet firm on the floor. And I don't want to have a huge arch here. We naturally have a curve in our spine, and I kind of want to roll it down a little bit. So now, feet on the floor, I'm just going to drive through my heels to lift my hips up. Not necessarily creating a curve here. We want to use our glutes to push our hips off the floor. So always remain tension there. If you start feeling like you're just creating a curve, you can just start over, just to get the most out of these. So we're going to do 6 here, just lifting up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we're going to go into single leg. So now just make sure you're still planted on the floor. You're going to lift one leg up, and you're still going to drive that same amount, getting that same feeling. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so now we're just going to repeat that warm-up 1 more time. So the first thing we had, we're going to go back into our leg cradles, and we've got these later in the video, so it's good to kind of get the same pattern, only a little bit easier as your warm-up. So now, hopefully, I could get a little bit more of a stretch than I did on the first one. We're just going to go 5 each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, we're just gonna bring it around, do our reach, roll, lift. We've got 5 here as well. All right, and our last round of glute bridges, still doing the doubles and the singles. Getting warm already. All right, I'm going into my left leg. And we're doing 6 of each of these. A little different from 5. I don't know. I just felt like we needed a little more of everything on this guy. 1. 2 more. Last one. Sweet. So that was our quick warm up. Out of the way. So doing a windmill to start, you're gonna put one hand up. You can balance something if you want to, but I'm just gonna use my hand. I wanna keep eye contact on my hand the whole time. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna touch the inside of my right leg if my left hand's up, looking at my left finger, and I'm just gonna slide down to touch my heel, and then back up. So the goal here is I don't really wanna bend my right leg. I wanna push my hips back so that I can keep this tray on this invisible tray on my hand level. If you want to stop at your knee, that's fine, shin or ankle, as long as you can keep that motion. We don't want to start compensating to get to the bottom. We're looking at quality. So if you can stop here, that's fine too. So we'll just switch sides, looking up at my right hand, touching the outside left foot, and back up. One more. There we go. The second exercise we're going to pair with our windmills is our leg cradle to lateral squat. We're going to do 5 each side here. So to start, you're going to brace your knee and your ankle. Try to get up as tall as you can. And then that same leg, you're just going to do a lateral squat. You're going to fall right into it. Things I want to think about here is keeping my toe facing forward. I want to try to keep my chest up as high as I can. This leg should stay straight. You can let that toe come up or keep it planted, up to you, as long as that leg's straight. And then we're back up. So we're going to do 4 more on this side. Bracing knee, ankle, getting tall, lateral squat. If you want to add some balance work, you can go straight into the next rep without having to touch your toe to the floor. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. So now right knee, right ankle, getting tall, falling to the right. And then remember, this is our mobility stretching class, a little bit more dynamic. So remember, don't rush through these parts, because this is where we still want to ask ourselves to achieve a chest up position, not looking down at the ground. We want to get a quality stretch in up here, so really work on that. Don't get into a as quick as you can finish it kind of phase. So we're going to go back into our second round of this block. So we've got our 5 windmills each side. So I'm just going to reset. Balancing my tray. Actually, let's start with the left hand up. Right hand. Just going to reach and back up. Really push your hips back. Three. 4. Another thing to think about with this one, we don't necessarily want to just drop, we want to actively reach. So think about as you're pushing your hips back and then squeezing your glutes forward, keeping a tight core. Because remember, if we are actually balancing something up here, we don't want it to move. I think I've got one more. Second, and then back. All right, let's get into those lateral squats. So I'm going to walk a little bit closer, kind of blending in with the darkness. All right, so I'm going to start going to the left. So left knee, left ankle, down. 3, 2 more here, 4, kind of rush that last stretch, so I'm going to give this a second, big pull, and fall. Alright, switching sides. One more on this side. And 5. Sweet. All right, that's our first block done. For our next block, we've got 3 exercises. The first one's going to be the most challenging as far as stability. We're going to do our single leg RDL to open up. So if I'm going to start with my left leg stationary, I'm going to get a little bit of a knee bend here. And just like a normal single leg RDL, I'm going to stop here, keeping my back toe pointed towards the ground, and I'm going to think about looking up. So I'm rotating inside and back here and standing. If you want to make this more challenging, you could reach towards the floor and slowly twist all the way up, come back down, and stand up. But we're just going to do a little bit of a twist today just so we can really stay in control of what's going on. I'm going to do 4 more on this side. Really focusing on maintaining that tension. We've got a strong base here, so I'm kicking that heel away, keeping tight here. I'm going to slowly rotate. Come back to square and stand up. When I say rotate, if it's my left leg, that means I'm going to lift with my right hip. See how my foot becomes flat, square, and up. Here, open. I believe this is our last one. Bring it down. Ooh, I lost it. I'm going to redo that one. Hands on a bad note. So chest towards the floor. Opening up. Coming back to square. And switching sides. We're going to get on our right foot. So now my right knee is a little bit bent. I'm still actively pushing that left leg away. And then I'm just going to slowly rotate to my left. Square and back up. Almost didn't get that one. Got 4 more. Rotating up, back, and square. Right side is definitely more challenging than the left. We've got one more on this side. Gotta make it count. Alright. And with these, if you're struggling with each repetition, you can still lower the amount that you're rotating out to the side, just like any other exercise. If there's only so far you can get, if you're even having trouble getting into this position, you can start wherever you're comfortable maintaining, open up from there, bring it back, and start over. Second exercise we've got in this block is our half kneeling rotations. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to line up my left foot with my right knee. I'm gonna push through my back toe and my whole foot to just bring my knee off the ground. And what I'm gonna do is start my right back pocket, is I'm gonna reach up and away, and then back here. And I'm gonna get 5 total rotations. So nothing else is moving except my torso. And down. All right, so now I'm gonna put my right foot up. I'm gonna try to get it in line, or somewhat in line with my left knee. I'm gonna drive through that left toe and my whole right foot, just to get my knee off the ground. 5 rotations. Whoop. And you can tell if your knees, if you've got kind of a longer stance, you might feel more of a hip flexor stretch. And we don't want that. So I'm gonna bring my heel back about 90 degrees, and we're up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and rest. All right, so our third exercise that we've got in this block is gonna be our plank with reach. So we're gonna get into a plank position. We've got 5 reaches each side. So I'm on my forearms, my toes, my hips are down. I'm just gonna reach out in front of me. I'm gonna get that out of the way. Think about keeping your thumb pointed up. And rest. that was the first round of our second block. So we're gonna start back at our RDL with open ups. So I'm starting back on my left foot. I'm gonna unlock that knee, get into position, rotate up, and stand. Go ahead and switch sides. And you can do this at your own pace too. This one's a lot more challenging than the others, and it's definitely a priority to get the movement down versus kind of rushing through it. You definitely want to maintain control in the rotation, so if you need to pause the video here, that's totally fine. I'm just gonna keep going. This one's gonna take me forever. When you get into that RDL position, I'm squeezing that right glute if I'm on my right leg to keep balance, bringing my hips back down and up. If I'm disengaged, I'm going to have a lot harder time maintaining that balance. Whoop. I'm going to start that one over. Last one. Don't mess it up. And here. Whew. That was a lot better than the first round, which is always a good sign. All right, we're gonna go into our second movement, which is our half kneeling rotations. So I'm lining up here. Remember, always check where your hips are at. You don't want to be too bent here or tucked under. So if we've been sitting a lot, it's easy to kind of keep that slouch position, but we want to be tall. So we want to find that neutral spine. So always check yourself before you start these ones, and we're up. And then just actively push away all the way through this rotation. Third exercise of this round, our plank with reach, 5 each side here. If you want an extra challenge, you can try balancing something on your back here. The goal is to not let it fall. And rest. Okay, for this last block, we've got 2 exercises. We're gonna do 5 B-side kick throughs with a crab reach each side, and then we're gonna superset that with 8 divers. So to do the first one, if you watched some of the videos before, you should know what the beast activation is. So our beast position, I'm going to keep my hands wide open, right underneath my shoulders. I'm going to balance on my toes and my hands. So I'm keeping my knees close to my wrists, and they're just a couple inches off the floor. And then I'm going to watch my shoulders. So you can kind of cycle through a little bit here. You want to feel planted. Don't be tight, keeping your shoulders away from your ears. To get into a side kick through, if I'm going to go to my right, I'm going to lift up my right hand and bring We're gonna pair that now by putting our heel on the ground. I'm gonna push through my right leg, reaching my right hand up in the air, trying to get my hips up as high as I can, and then back down. And then I'm gonna switch. So I'm here, reaching up, back down. And remember, you want to keep that foot planted on the ground so you can drive your hips up, reaching up towards the ceiling. Let's just do one more each side. Never know what side I'm on. And rest. All right, the second exercise we've got for divers, you're gonna be in a similar position. You can space out just a little bit more so your knees don't need to be as close to your wrists. So now, I'm gonna push my hips back so my chest is almost facing my toes. My knees are bent slightly. Now I'm gonna bend my elbows and just scooping the ground, I'm gonna push up. Now to get from this position, I'm gonna lift with my hips first and then push my chest back. Then exhale as you look up, lift with the hips. That's 3. We got 2 more. And 8. Go ahead and rest. You can grab some water or go straight into the next set. I'm gonna get some water because it's hot. All right, let's start our last set. So we're back in our beast position. So we're gonna bring our knees back closer to our wrists, creating that tabletop, getting my shoulders away from my ears, and we're up. And rest. All right, last thing we've got is our 8 divers. Last one. And 8. All right, guys, so that was today's stretching and mobility